Hey, deserving listeners, Love is Blind, Season 2. Let's watch.
So.
All right.
Okay, I would like to talk to.
Okay.
I actually am not used to setting boundaries, but I want to do this
What does that mean?
Well, again, like I'm
Normally what?
No, I'm like not used to setting like good boundaries, and like it usually ends up in disaster.
Yeah.
All right, we're learning from her that she says, I'm not good at setting good boundaries, and so I want to do it right this time and set good boundaries. I'd have, if I were there and I was tasked with investigating these things, which would be weird, I would want to know what she means by that. Because when people tend to use the phrase bad boundaries to apply to a lot of different things. Sometimes it's a lack of assertiveness. Sometimes it's allowing abuse to happen. Sometimes it's rushing into things too quickly. Sometimes it's defining yourself with someone else. Like you have bad boundaries. You define yourself through your relationships or even by the way other people think of you. There's just a lot of different experiences and psychological concepts that people will tend to use. So I wonder so in the boundary that she sets, I think we might be able to take a guess as to what she regrets of the past.
The first time we're actually spending time together, and I want to do this the right way.
Okay.
I was thinking for like the first night that we would spend the night in separate rooms.
Okay, so she wants to spend the night in separate rooms, and I'm guessing he'll go along with it because that's his track. I mean, sometimes I wonder if the men on these shows feel like it's kind of a test of their manlyhood. Like I'm thinking of Jennifer and Tim to some extent, where there's this idea that if you back down, then that makes you kind of like not a real man. Like a real man will allow it, but with some fighting. And that some people, including some of the women on these shows, actually want that to happen. I don't think Shaina is in that position, but anyway, so she wants to sleep in a different room. And what does that tell us about her past boundaries? Does that mean her sexual boundaries weren't very good in the past and she regrets not having gone slower with people? I don't know. Could also be possible that the boundary she's setting is, look, I don't feel comfortable moving into this relationship sexually yet, and I've done that in the past. And she did talk about being abused in the past, so maybe she is trying to be different from that. I don't know, but anyway, let's see how this goes.
You don't trust me then?
No. Oh my God. No.
Then what?
Set boundaries.
Yeah.
I know you're probably
No,
like,
I just thought that it's more bonding.
100%.
No pressure.
No.
But
I would never think that. I would not choose. Like I would not.
But that's like the best time is like be yourself.
Okay, so I think maybe what he's saying there is when we turn out the lights, it's the cameras aren't around, so we can kind of be ourselves and we can bond. But I don't know if that's what he's saying. But they're managing the conversation well. He's just like, hey, I don't want to make you feel pressured, and it's not. I think he's saying it's not necessarily sex, but it's also bonding. I think he's also saying that, look, we could be in the same room, but if you don't want to, be physical, that's okay, but I'd like to be with you. And she's being reassuring, like, no, I'm not, I'm not saying that about you. I'm so, she wants to, if I were his friend, I would say, look, you don't want to convince her to stay in her room. She doesn't want you to sleep in her room. You don't want her to go like kicking and screaming into that scenario. It's not one, it's not fair, and two, what better way to push someone away than to kind of force your way into their room at night?
But whatever you think.
Are you angry?
No, but I didn't expect that.
I know.
I get it.
Do you?
So
I'll see you tomorrow morning.
You're gonna go to your room now?
So maybe it's time to talk a little bit about playing hard to get. We've talked about this briefly before. It's something that people have been talking about for, I don't know, at least decades, since I was a kid, maybe longer, that if you want to entice someone, you got to play hard to get. And it's complicated because on one level, no, on another level, maybe. So at least we can look at this situation and say, Shaina has said that she is ambivalent. I mean, I don't know if she said that directly, but she's basically indicated that she's ambivalent about Kyle and wanting to be with him. And she doesn't even want to be with him tonight. She wants him. It sounds like it's early. You can sort of see like the sun maybe just set. So, and they're in Mexico, so I'm guessing it's maybe 8 o'clock. I'm just going to take a guess. And he's like, wait, you want to, you're kicking me out now? Like, I wanted to, it's like we just got to see each other. I think for him, he's like, I'm in love with you. And this is our honeymoon kind of, or our, some kind of major event, our first in-person date. All I want to do is be with you and just talk and see you. And you don't want, you're like, you don't want that. And so I think from his standpoint, it makes sense. From her standpoint, she's on the fence. So for him, golly, I mean, it's almost doomed. Because if he, well, I don't know if it's doomed, but if he continues to, because he's not being bad about it, but he's trying to convince. He's like, wait, you want me to leave now? And that can cause, it's hard to know what really is going on in people when you're not playing hard to get. But one way of looking at it is that if you're on the fence and someone starts to pressure you, you start to feel a little claustrophobic, and then you want to repulse, right? So, like, I think about my dogs, my bigger dog, is that he loves to cuddle and to get pets and to hang out. But if I envelop him, he gets claustrophobic and he'll push away. He'll even growl, not growl, but he'll go, ugh. I call it motorcycle. He sounds like a motorcycle. He just kind of, it's like him complaining. He's just like, ugh. But I know he wants attention because it's like all that he wants. But to envelop and to, invade and to contain and to restrict is uncomfortable to him, which makes sense. And so maybe he could learn a thing or two from that metaphor.
Way more personable in person. She's so much more dynamic and has so much more personality. But she's like unlike anyone else.
She's like gold-plated dynamite.
I can't believe it. At the end of the day, I think that I'm the lucky one. I get to be with her. I'm very lucky.
So he's talking about how he's very lucky to be with her. And of course, if two people believe that about each other, then yay. But if only one person believes that, then uh-oh.
And what I should do. I can leave Mexico being a single woman. The way I felt about Shane, like back in the pods, that's in the back of my head at the end of the day. Like,
yikes. So, okay, fine. Don't accept an engagement with Kyle. Totally fine. You're like, I think I still like Shane. Okay. And I don't think I like Kyle. So she's saying, I don't know if I showed it, but she's basically saying that the differences between her and Kyle regarding religion, and also apparently he's vegetarian and doesn't eat bread, and so she's upset at that too. She even, I didn't show this, I don't think, but she said, a real man would eat meat and eat bread, and it's just like, what does that even mean? So she's saying that, again, it'd be fine if she's like, I eat meat and bread. I mean, I eat meat and bread. It's fine if you eat meat and bread. But, I mean, it's not 100% fine to eat meat, honestly. I mean, I eat meat, but it has its environmental and political problems for sure. So I wish the industry was more ethical. And there are some ethical venues of that kind of thing. Anyway, this point is that she is saying what she was saying from the beginning in the pods, which is our differences are pretty big. To her, the religious difference is a much more significant thing to her than it is to Kyle, which is fine. Then then she said, I'll accept, his proposal because why? she said, well, when I see him, maybe it'll clarify things. After seeing him, she's even saying it's more of a no after having seen him. So I don't know what that means, but let's all just, take that in. Fine. Totally fine. Don't accept his engagement. Now, maybe some people will say, it's just an engagement. It's not marriage. So it's not lying. She's not straight up lying to him. But the question is she leading him on unnecessarily? And does she know that? You make the call. Let me know in the comments below. And what are the ethics around that?
Last night, I was taken aback. Shaina decided that she should just end our trip early and go home. I need better communication from Shaina. She's a horrible communicator.
Interesting. So either I missed that part or that went on off camera, that she was telling him that she just wanted to go home. And yeah, I mean, I honestly, given the way she talks, that would be the best course of action. And at the very least, just tell Kyle, look, I don't think this is going to work. I mean, maybe if we have more time to date, but at this point, I'm not really feeling it. Plus, I'm, to be honest, thinking about someone else. So to be fair to you, I should, call this off. Going home would, I think, effectively do that. But it sounds like they're not going to do that. Kyle is also saying she's a terrible communicator. She's the very horrible communicator. I wonder if what he's expressing is she's not saying the things I want her to say, which is I'm in love with because he probably had naturally this narrative in his mind. It's like this is love is blind. You're supposed to meet each other and fall in love, and then we meet in person and lovey-dovey and all this stuff, and I'm not getting into that. So she's a horrible communicator. I mean, I guess he could be accurate based on what we've seen, because she has told us in one-on-one interviews with the producers that essentially she's not into him, but she hasn't really said that to him directly, I don't think. So I guess in that way she is not the best communicator, if that's true.
It's like, well, how do I even know you're alive? I'm a little worried. I'm gonna have to adjust a lot, I think, in order for us to move forward with our relationship. Eventually, I'll get more confident physically around her.
Ugh, just breaks my heart, him saying, I'm gonna have to adjust a lot to make things work with her. I don't feel confident around her. Yeah, because I don't think she likes you, but she's not saying that directly, and so it's not you. She just isn't into you, I don't think, and never was, even before she met you in person. So that's you would like to, I don't know. So on one hand, if you're him, you're like, well, I mean, she hasn't said no, so maybe it will work, and I'm willing to give it a try. So I have to stay. I wonder if he's like just trying to stay positive, because there's another viable attitude of like, well, if she's not going to show any kind of affection towards me, then this is off. And I don't know what's going on with her, but I don't want to be engaged to someone who doesn't want to kiss me and touch me and be with me and talk with me. Like, it's kind of like the defining feature of a relationship is all those things.
I'll grow on her a little. Shaina's gonna be madly in love with me at the end of it, ready to get married.
Well, then when he says something like that, I'm just like, why do you believe that? Is that a pattern of yours to just believe things that don't have any evidence? So I wonder what's going on there. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.